So I've chosen to stay off my bicycle for a couple different reasons over the last few weeks, and it got me thinking, should I be sometimes taking a break from riding my bike, and should you once in a while take a break from riding your bicycle? So a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go on a work trip running a camera, and it was just too good of an opportunity to pass up. The other reason is you might already be able to tell is I've come down with a pretty bad cold. So we had a really nice weekend for mid-November in Northeast Ohio. I think it was about 50 and sunny on Saturday and Sunday. So on Saturday, I kind of went out for a solo ride for a bit, and then I ended up linking up with some friends out in Kent, Ohio. We hung out outside, we had some beers. I knew I wasn't feeling 100%, but it was a real party pace ride, so I didn't really notice that much. And then also I just kind of chalked it up to the fact that I had been traveling. We had been staying in a different hotel every single night, working long days. And then also the fact that there was a 3-hour time difference by the time we got back. Not huge, but I figured, okay, I could still just be a little bit out of it. When I woke up on Sunday morning, I knew I was sick, had a sore throat, a dry cough. Tested myself, I don't have the Rona. Don't feel super flu-y, don't feel super feverish and achy, so pretty sure I've come down with like more of just a common cold. A lot of the research says if you just have a common cold, you're fine to work out, like just keep it kind of moderate. But as I've gotten older, I've started to know myself. Last time I was sick, I went out for a bike ride on a moderate day, and I felt just way worse after. So for me, when I was younger, I would do whatever I wanted. Like if I was sick, I didn't let it hold me back or anything, and I would, just live my life. I'm just fine now that if I do that kind of stuff, it just prolongs me getting better. So today I did have to go and do a photo shoot, and it was outside in the cold, and I had to stand out there for an hour and a half. I dressed myself really warm. But on Sunday, even with that nice, beautiful day, I said, you need to just sit at your computer, throw a blanket on, do a little editing, do a little napping, and just try and chill. So yeah, when it comes to being sick, kind of in any way, I've just decided for me, my best bet is to stay off the bike. And it's a bummer too. The job I did today would have been a job I rode my bike to. It's a part of town I ride my bike to all the time. I could have taken the bike trail almost all the way there, but I'm just like, it's not worth it. And as I'm recording this, it's Thanksgiving week in the United States. So, friends are going to be coming in town, family on Thursday, and I'm like, my best bet is to try and get better. It just makes the most sense. And so even though I want to ride my bike, it's not worth it. Also, for the record, doing a little bit of my own research on health issues. If you are feverish and if you are achy, all the advice seems to be just rest. Don't do anything. So even though there was some advice that common cold, you could do moderate working out. And maybe if it was summertime and maybe if it was 80 and sunny, I would do something small. But this time of year, today's 38 degrees. I just find it's best not to do it. I would also say one of the very minor things that came out of the pandemic is people are a lot more understanding when you don't show up to work or other places because you are sick. So the work trip kept me off my bike for about 8 days. I flew into Dallas, Texas on a Tuesday, and then I got back from Las Vegas on a Tuesday night. So yeah, my last ride was that one Monday, and then I rode my bike again that Wednesday. And I have to say what I noticed when I rode on Wednesday, I felt really good. All the little aches that kind of develop when you ride your bike a lot, or when you ride your bike a lot, I guess at my age, were all gone. Like I didn't feel anything, in my knees. I didn't feel anything in my back. And if you understand what tapering is, I definitely felt like I could just ride and ride. Like I had really, just kind of a reset. I hate to admit that because I don't really ever want to spend time off my bike, but it was like a noticeable benefit. So I would say that if maybe you are feeling a little rough around the edges, that taking a little break is a good idea. Again, doing some of my internet research just to see what the experts and the bigger health websites were saying. A lot of them were saying that, every 6 to 8 weeks you should take a couple days off. I kind of do that anyways. The weather kind of does that. My work schedule does that. I think most of us spend a couple days, not working out per se. Plus some of my rides are just chill anyways. But, and then winter, we're getting into winter. There'll be times when I take a couple days off the bike. But a whole week, that's going to be a rarity for me. It is like frustrating to know that like it was helpful to have that week off my bike, but for me to know that I'm not going to do it unless forced to do it. So the things I was thinking about is what could I do to mitigate that? Well, like I said, the weather sometimes keeps me off my bike, making sure if I'm starting to feel a little rough, maybe just making sure a couple of the days are more chill. I just love to be outside. I love to ride my bike. It's who I am. Like the last few winters, me, Aaron, and my buddy Ben, we've been talking about the idea of doing a little more hiking. When I was younger, that's like all I did. And one of the big things was I always wanted to be taking photos and using my camera. One of the things with riding now that I really enjoy is making these videos. And it's also because like the GoPro makes it so easy to film when I'm riding. So I could still like have that creative outlet. So YouTube is kind of as my hobby stuff, taking the place of walking around with my camera all the time. So I wanted to talk about my trip in bikes and stuff like that a little bit. But in a nutshell, I think like the advice that's just total common sense about taking a break is listening to your body. Do what you should do, not what I say, because I know I'm not the best at taking it easy. So yeah, for the work trip, it wasn't necessarily that I didn't ever want to ride. There were places we were where there were supposed to be amazing mountain bike trails. We were in a couple cities. The thing that happened is even though I had a free night the first night in Dallas doesn't actually have a bike share. So I kind of went out and did my own thing, explored, took photos, stopped in a couple breweries, stopped in a cider place. But I actually, when I wanted to check out another neighborhood, had to take an Uber because there was no bikes to borrow. They did have those electric scooters. I just didn't go through it was a different brand than the apps I have. So I felt like that was kind of a bummer. It's surprising that a city as big as Dallas does not have a bike share. It seems like they've had a couple over the years, but just don't right now. So that was kind of a letdown. And then a lot of the other nights, we were moving every night. So we went from Dallas to Roswell, through New Mexico, into Arizona. And a lot of the nights we were just getting in late. And like the idea, like some people had suggested before I left bike rentals, the problem with that is like leaving early in the morning and getting in the evening, that doesn't really work. I've rented bikes when I've traveled before and it's been great, but your timing has to work out of getting it, having the time and getting it back. Saying that there were plenty of times where I would have wanted to ride my bike and I still thought about cycling because it's something I think about a lot. It wasn't as bad as it might seem, and this is because we were going to the Grand Canyon, we were going to Zion National Park, and all these amazing places. And as I mentioned earlier, like photography obviously is my other passion, and making videos and stuff like that. So we were making a YouTube series, so I was running this camera I'm filming on right now to do the professional job we were doing, but then I also had my GoPro. And we got to some spots at the perfect time. Horseshoe Bend is kind of an iconic location. Page, Arizona, the Grand Canyon. We got there right at sunset. So, my whole, I was having a blast just getting all these really cool photos and stuff like that. So at the end of the night, it wasn't like, man, I wish I had ridden my bike today. Yeah. Even though I'm like, yeah, that'd be great if I could squeeze it in, but this isn't a vacation, it's a work trip, and then I'm still getting to do really cool things. The other thing is these people I work with are awesome. So again, work trip, but they're people I really enjoyed being around. So I do have a second YouTube channel that's more about my photography stuff or just experimental stuff that I don't want to put on here because it's not bike related. So I made a video that's like a highlight reel of our trip. So if you do want to see us traveling out west and kind of what that looked like, just this little musical overview, I will link that on the end screen and down in the description. If you want to subscribe to that channel, cool. I know there are some people still around here that are here from when this had a lot of photography content on it. But that's about it for now. Just, I don't know. If you're wondering too why this video cuts so much, I'm not trying to be a cool YouTuber. I'm coughing between takes. So I am going to go upstairs and relax and chill out. Thanks as always for watching. Thanks for all the support, and I will see you in the next one.